Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with another video. I hope everybody's doing well. I wasn't intending on making a video, that seems to be a theme this week. But well, the heck happened? The fudge. Anyway, sorry, I got a little distracted. But I saw this and I saw this very piece of, in my opinion, very bland art. And I simply tweeted this very simple message. As you can see, I quote tweeted Tom Taylor, right? Just simply saying, look at this very exciting piece of art. So action packed, I'm snoring. Because it's a very bland image. It's simply uh, new Superman, John Kent Superman, his self insert boyfriend, I think Aquaman or some variation and version of Aquaman in the background, and walking with a bunch of climate protesters. Now, unfortunately, I cannot click further into this tweet because if I do, well, we get this. Tom Taylor blocked me over a milquetoast statement about the art, not about his writing, right? I didn't say a word to him about how I feel about John Kent being retconned to be gay, bisexual, technically, right? I simply made a very milquetoast comment about the art. If it loads again. I made a milquetoast comment about the art, and he is just so sensitive, right? This alone just hurt his feces. Really, Tom? Really, I mean, I can't stop you from blocking me or blocking Ice Wolf or blocking other people who dare give you the slightest bit of pushback or criticism. I will say, though, that it's not a good look on you to block people, right, who are not being overtly mean toward you, right? If I had used profanity in the tweet, right, or if I had been like very mean or aggressive, right? If I had been insulting toward him, I could understand that. But he's so sensitive that he or whomever is operating or running his Twitter account is so sensitive to the slightest bit of criticism that you simply say the art is bland. You don't comment a word on his writing. He's the writer, not the artist. But you say one damn word about his writing, about the art, and he decides to block. Okay, all right, you blocked me. Your choice. I won't do the same because, see, I'm not. How do I put it? I don't want to be too profane, but let's just say that I've got more guts and testicular fortitude when it comes to criticism online than Tom Taylor does. Anybody who has followed me online and has seen me literally get dogpiled for a pretty milquetoast opinion can attest to that. But okay, since you want to block me over a comment about art, I'm going to, well, load. I'm going to address that art. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if this piece of art is the cover of the comic itself or if it is just interior art, a piece of interior art, but I'm going to treat it like it was the cover of the physical comic itself, and I will tell you why. Because Tom Taylor is using this image to promote the comic, right? It says our Superman. No. He's no. John Kent is a Superman. He's not our Superman. Our Superman, right? The world Superman, the Superman everyone knows and loves, right? Is Clark Kent because Clark Kent is a simple small town boy who just happens to be an overpowered alien, right? You will never be able to recreate the charm of Clark Kent, Tom. You don't understand the character, Tom. And I speak as someone who is not actually a big fan of Superman. I am not a big fan of the Paragon types. I'm much more a Batman girl. But this is not our Superman. I have no issue with John Kent or John Kent being Superman. Makes sense to me that the son of Superman would inherit his name and everything positive and negative that goes with such a weighty mantle, right? So that's not the issue for me. The issue for me isn't even this very overt social messaging as regards climate change, right? Comics have often, throughout their history, throughout the decades, copied. I shouldn't say copied. Copy is not the right word. They have addressed in the pages of their comics the social issues of the day. They did it in the 40s. They did it in the 50s. They did it in the 80s and the 90s. There is nothing wrong with that in and of itself, right? They've always addressed social issues in some fashion. Not every single comic issue addresses social issues, but the comics medium itself, because it has artists, right? It's a creative medium, has been used to address the social issues of the day, whether it be second wave feminism, whether it be war, whether it be crime, whether it be drugs. Comics have always touched upon the relevant social issues of the day. So the fact that they're touching upon the social issue of climate change in of itself does not bother me. It doesn't mean I agree with the way they're doing it. I don't think that necessarily this should be the way you promote a comic, right? Which is supposed to be about action-packed superheroics more than anything else. But the fact that they're tackling a social issue in and of itself or addressing it is not what bothers me. We've all seen in the modern day that modern day comics are treated more as political pamphlets, and very poorly done political pamphlets more often than not these days, than they are actual stories that touch upon uh, uh, the human issues in society. So the fact that it's about climate change, I'm largely indifferent on. I'm simply looking at it as a promotional piece of art. And as a promotional piece of art, Tom, it sucks. The art is bland. The colors are bland. Right? I will give you credit for the fact that at least Superman and Aquaman and what's his name, Jay, the pink haired boy's name is Jay, John's boyfriend. At least they visually stand out. At least their colors pop a bit. But outside of that, this is not visually interesting. Nobody is in a heroic or strong looking pose. There's hardly any expressions on anyone's faces, and even though you can't see it, it's supposed to be some sort of giant tentacle sea monster type thing rising out of the water. It doesn't look visually impressive or anything. You have like one person actually looking behind them, looking at the huge monstrosity about to attack them, and sadly, we cannot see that individual's face, so we can't see the expression on their face. Most importantly, and here's the biggest part, you have a bunch of superheroes, right? You have at least two superheroes here, right? And apparently Jay has powers as well, right? But you have Aquaman in the background, and you have Superman, John Kent out front, and they're literally just walking. They're doing the most pedestrian thing you can do, right? They're not flying. Aquaman's not swimming. They're not doing anything visually exciting or interesting. They're just literally just walking with signs in their hands. Like, I've seen people walking across the street outside of my window have more visual excitement and impact than this image does. Tom, you're supposed to be promoting a comic book. Even if it's a comic book that has divisive social takes and themes, you're still supposed to be promoting a comic book. If this is indeed a piece of art from the interior, right, from the book itself, so if it's a piece of interior art, no one thought to choose something a bit more visually interesting. Maybe, the big giant sea monster attacking the protesters, and you have Superman flying in, and you have Aquaman, coming in, or, riding on a shark or something to, come save the people, which is what superheroes are supposed to do. They're supposed to save the common man who cannot save himself from these threats that are way above their pay grade. But no, we're not seeing the superheroes address the giant threat right behind them, right? We're not seeing any expressions of fear or anything on these characters' faces. I mean, you honestly cannot see the expression on John's face, right? He just has some general lines on his face indicating that, oh, those are eyebrows and eyes and a smile. But you can't actually see his expression. You can't see Jay's expression because they're doing the whole, anime, you cloud the glasses thing. Everybody else's face is not drawn well enough to actually give the expression on their faces. There is absolutely no visual narrative or expressiveness to this image. It is bland as hell. It is boring. It is the absolute last thing you should use to sell a comic book. Comic books, even with all the words, even with writers who are as wordy as Bendis, are still a visual medium. You need interesting art to keep people interested, to keep the reader interested, right? If this were on a spinner rack back in the day, how many issues do you think people, just going in and out of a store would pick up? Probably not many because nothing visually interesting about this. Let's look at some classic Superman covers, right? We have some classic ones here, right? Now, to be fair, these two here, right, are fairly static, but look at this, right? He's bursting out of his chains, right? Or this one, he's big and he's strong and he's powerful and he's heroic, and then you have the one further on the right side, right, where he looks like he's about to fly off the page, or the one where it looks like he's about to like fly toward you off the page, right? You have him in these very strong, and of course this is Clark, to be fair. It's not the same Superman, but still, there are certain visuals just associated with the name, with the mantle of Superman, right? And it's usually these very strong, heroic, shoulders back, chest out type of power poses, and you see that here. And again, you can see these are different eras of the history of the Superman comics, right? Some more recent, some a lot more classic, yet they all look visually interesting, right? You have him here with the American flag. You have this one where he's flying off. You have this one here, right? And of course, many, many, many more. Here he's flying. Here looks like he's being attacked. Ah, this one's nice, right? He's tearing open this, looks like a prison cell or something, right? These are the type of covers that get people visually interested in a comic. Seeing the hero of the story look strong, look heroic, look dynamic, actually doing something, right? Looking something better than normal, looking better and stronger and more elite than something as painfully pedestrian as marching down the street. Now, look, this type of thing might work if you were doing something like, say, an homage to MLK, right? The idea of the superheroes marching with a icon of the civil rights movement, right? That if you were doing a theme like that, that would be understandable. But this is not related to the civil rights movement. This is related to climate change. And I think that we all need to be concerned about the environment and what what the things we do both individually and collectively as a group, and the things that factories and businesses do, because we have to live on this planet, right? We have to breathe the air and eat the food that comes out the soil and eat the animals who eat the food out the soil, right? So I'm not saying that being concerned about climate change or being concerned about environmental issues in and of itself is wrong. It's not. I'm not educated enough on these things to give an opinion as to what climate change is or what the issues are. I'm not going to act as if that's in my wheelhouse. It's not. But The idea itself is not what bothers me. Is basically what I'm trying to say. It's not the idea itself that bothers me. It is the absolutely bland art that bothers me. There are so many other ways to get the point across in a way that would still make people actually want to read comics. But then again, I think as many people have mentioned and noticed, comics are not made for comic book fans anymore, at least by and large by the big two. They're made for this phantom audience. They're made for this phantom audience that is not going to buy their comic because guess what? All they ever wanted was to simply see the industry more or less bend to their will or bend to their image. They never had any intention of actually putting down money or investing time or investing themselves emotionally in the story. This is all that they need. This tweet is as far as the audience goes when it comes to the the progressive controlled left outrage warriors, whatever you want to call them, type. I personally will not be reading this because one, I'm not interested in John Kent. Two, again, visually bland. Three, even if I were interested, I'm currently boycotting mainstream comics because I do not agree with things like, oh, I don't know, blocking people when they haven't said anything worth getting blocked for, Tom. Understand this, Tom. You turned away a potential customer, Tom. And believe you me, I will not forget this. I am a woman. I have a memory like a steel trap. And as the saying goes, hell hath no fury when it comes to a woman's scorn. So believe me, Tom, you will not have to worry about getting any money from me. I don't care if you go work at Marvel. I don't care if you go write for them. You could write the best X-Men story to ever be written. I would not purchase it because you would be the person who wrote it. And I have no respect for people who block because of, well, because they're punks. Right? It's one thing to block if someone is sincerely harassing you. That I understand. But when I talk about why I have a dislike of people blocking, it's because of stuff like this. Ah, shoot. Sorry. You get load. You get a milk toast critique. Not insulting, maybe a little bit snarky. You guys can decide for yourself. Right? It's not my place to tell you how to think. But I don't see this criticism as anything uh, all that rude, let's say. And again, I was simply addressing the art. I didn't say a word about Taylor's writing or bisexual John Kent or anything. I just said that the piece of art is bland and I'm sleepy, and he blocks me. Okay, okay. You got what you wanted, Tom. I didn't get what I want because I would like to see a Superman, or rather a writer on Superman who actually respects what the mantle stands for and respects the character of Jonathan Kent, right? But you got what you wanted. I will give you that. You got to promote this on social justice issues. You got to make a Superman bisexual for no reason at all. And you got to push me away. Now, when you're munching on sand, right, and you're counting the tiny bit of money you have and you're not making your bills because this comic isn't selling, remember this. Remember this. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day or night wherever you are. Bye.